Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Candid Talks with Tenn. Tonight's topic or conversation is, do we glorify eating disorders? Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, tonight's video was supposed to be a mukbang, but I figured I can't have that topic about eating disorders while having a mukbang and then maybe triggering someone, right? And there are a lot of different eating disorders. I won't go into all of them or list them all. But do we glorify it? Like the binge eaters. I'm curious, are the people that are doing mukbangs, is that a way to cover the fact that they have binge eating disorder? Or are they bulimic? Do they binge on the food and then I'm trying to think of a word. Do they binge on the food and then go straight to the toilet later and expel it back up? Are they anorexic? Do they just get on camera and pretend to eat, take a couple of bites, and that's it? It's just a thought that's in my head. It's just a thought that's on my mind. I've always been curious about eating disorders. Me, myself, I consider myself an emotional eater. Sometimes I eat or I snack when I'm happy. I definitely overeat when I'm sad, which adds to the weight gain, weight loss, weight fluctuation. However, I've never not eaten. Like, I'm from the South, baby. I gotta eat. Okay, that's just it. I gotta eat. I gotta snack. If I eat, I gotta have some sweet to go with it, right? But I was just wondering, is this something that we're glorifying? One of my friends brought to my attention about another creator that used to be very overweight, right? Used to do mukbangs all the time, just overall unhealthy individual. And even me, I think back to a time where I was very unhappy, and I used to say all the time, I'm cute for a big girl, right? There was a stage in my life where I was best friends with peanut M&Ms. I still like peanut M&Ms. But I was best friends with peanut M&Ms. I was lovers with ice cream. Or I was in love with ice cream. And I dated food. Like that was a literal time that I can think back, that I can recall, which was a more unhappy period of my life, right? And mainly because I couldn't see it for what it was. I gained a couple pounds, and in my mind, I think I thought I was way bigger than what I actually was. I wasn't stepping on the scale. I wasn't weighing myself. I wasn't actively exercising. Like, I was walking because I had to get to point A and point B, but I wasn't doing it to be healthy, if that makes sense. I was doing it to get from work, to and from work. And this was back in my younger life. Now I'm kind of like content with where I am. Like, if I'm big, I'm big. If I'm small, I'm small. Like, I'll live, right? But I was more critical of myself back then. And I remember getting so low to a point to where I was like, well, I'm already big. I might as well eat what I want. And like, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. Like, I was going through it, y'all. This is just young adult life, right? Young adult me. And people were still finding me attractive. I still had a boyfriend at the time, right? But in my mind, and again, I'm from the South, so, you know, we do like our people with a little bit more meat on their bones, right? But I knew deep down inside, I had never eaten that way before. I was never that unhappy before, and I wasn't depressed. So I don't want to get into mental health disorders with what I was going through, right? I was just an emotional eater. If I went to work and somebody pissed me off, I had a snack. If I came home and I was upset that I couldn't see my boo that day, I had a snack. If I was stressed with all, and I was in college at this time too, so that didn't help. If I had a paper that was due, I couldn't focus unless I snacked, right? Like, I think that's always been my main issue, is I like to snack. My name is Chocolate for a reason, right? At least y'all don't know that about me. That's my other persona for my art channel, is Chocolate. But yeah, I like the snacks, and I know it started early in childhood, because I can think of a time back to where it was just me and my mom. You know, not me and my mom in a sense as single mom, right? My dad was there, but it was just me and my mom, and that's how we discussed our day, or that's how we dealt with problems. Is she liked chocolate, and I knew I wasn't gonna get chocolate unless I got it from her. So we would just hang out, watch TV, and we would snack. Now, that wasn't a problem then, because I was an active child. As I got older, at some point, I reverted back to those moments, and probably because I was missing my mom at that time too, that I felt closer to her when I had chocolate, even though she had been long gone. My mom had passed away, right? So I shouldn't tell you all that, because we'll troll somewhere. That was the dynamic with me and my mom, right? And you know, with your family, you're gonna break bread or whatever. So, in early adult life, I'd probably say late teens, early 20s. You know, you go off to college that first time, you get your dorm room, you think you're grown, right? They weren't as great as they are now. At least, I don't know. I haven't been on a campus in some years, right? But I know that dorm rooms now come equipped, or there are certain things that you could take in a dorm room that, you know, we just didn't have access to back then, right? I think at best I had a microwave in my college dorm room. I mean, I was eating a lot of ramen. I still like noodles, okay? I was eating a lot of things that were unhealthy, microwavable meals, or, you know, microwavable mac and cheese. Things that, when the cafeteria closed at school, I had snacks in my room that I can get to, you know, in the middle of the night. Cafeteria is not going to be open, stuff like that. So, as it closely relates to me, I've had a very strong bond with food, right? The only time that I haven't had a bond with food was when I got to a certain point to where I finally stepped on the scale, and I was shook. Because y'all remember when I told you at first, when I thought I was big, I wasn't that big, right? I usually kept up with my weight according to how my clothes fit. If the next time I went shopping and I had to go up a size, okay, I'm probably getting too big. If I lose weight and those pants fit loose and I go back to my old pants, okay, I'm back on the right track, right? But it did get to a point to where when those pants got too tight and I had to go up a size, and it was a couple of sizes difference, as opposed to when I was younger, more active, had more energy to do things, that I was in a larger size, and it was a size wide. And I'm like, well, hell, at that point I wasn't with anyone either. So it's like, well, hell, I'm already big. At this point in time, I'm single, and I like to eat. I know. I like to eat. No harm, no foul, right? I'm going to continue to do it. That's basically, you know, and then moving forward, I got into a serious relationship. I was happy. I started back working out. I got back active. I wanted to look good for that person, right? And I started losing weight, but then I felt like the weight wasn't coming off fast enough. And I wasn't getting those affirmations or praises from the person that I was with. I wasn't being told, oh, you look good, da-da-da-da-da. I was still being told I look fluffy. So, and, you know, in my mind, I'm like, I know I lost at least 15 pounds. What do you mean I still look fluffy? So that kind of toyed with me in a sense too. I'm like, well, okay, well, I'm doing all this work. I'm actively going to the gym. I have a membership. I have a trainer. Things aren't happening fast enough for me. I would eat. And I'm telling you, I'm cracking up now, and I'm laughing because I wasn't laughing back then, right? It wasn't funny to me. And I mean, granted, there are individuals who like their partner a little bit bigger. So I was still getting attention, but I wasn't getting attention from where I wanted the attention to come from, right? I wanted that attention to come from my partner. I wasn't getting it. Of course, I could go outside, and some outside entity would say, oh, hey, little mama. In my case, hey, big mama. You know, and I smile and go on about my day, right? But again, the person who I wanted to hear it from, I wasn't hearing it from. So I would come home and I would cook, I would meal prep, I would make our meals. And I still, to this day, I meal prep. But I probably would eat 2 of those portions, right? And I wouldn't think twice about it. I'm like, hey, I'm still hungry. I'm going to eat. And of course, you know, so the weight would up and down, up and down, up and down. So finally, I realized I'm motivated by, I don't want to call it self-motivation. I'm motivated by, it's a form of self-motivation, but I have to have outside stimulation, if that makes sense. If you want to see me work out my hardest, my birthday is probably coming. If I'm changing a career path and that career path requires me to be more active, I'm working out my hardest. I'm sticking to it. I'm coming up with a plan. I'm sticking to it, right? The one time that I lost the most weight, I think I was vegan for like 6 months before I backslid into some chocolate. But I was vegan for 6 months for health reasons and also because I wanted to lose weight. And I noticed when I do things for myself because I want to do it, the result is better, right? So I went vegan because I wanted to go vegan. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to test it out. I wanted to see if I would be less addicted to candy, right? Because sweets, sugar, all that stuff is addictive, right? I believe that's the main reason why they call stuff additives, because they add in something that's going to make you addicted to it, okay? And I still, to this day, I still love chocolate. I still eat chocolate. I'm still going to snack. But I try to be more mindful. The way I got around it was I had to start thinking every time I eat, is this going to benefit me from a health standpoint? Or am I really need water, but I'm eating empty calories? Or I really need a supplement, but I'm eating empty calories? And I've been through every type of diet there was. Weight Watchers, even though veganism is more of a lifestyle change, but I was doing it for diet purposes. Veganism, I don't think I ever did low carb because I love rice and bread, which is one of my main problems as well. I did a 7-day military diet, right, where it's like a harsh shock to the body. I've done the 10-day smoothie cleanse. I've pretty much done them all. And I had to figure out what worked best for me. At some point, I had to retrain myself how to eat, right? And some people may look at it as an eating disorder. It wasn't an eating disorder because it was something that I could control. Like, I didn't have to binge eat. I was just overeating for the fact that I may have not had enough water that day, right? I may have had a bunch of empty calories that didn't amount to nothing, so I was back hungry 5 minutes later. So I had to train my brain, okay, when I want something sweet, which I'm getting ready to get back into, by the way. I recently bought myself more workout things, like, not like I need it, because I have a room full of workout equipment that I use intermittently, right? But I just bought myself a trampoline because I noticed I have to be stimulated differently to receive a different outcome. I can buy a jump rope, but if I don't feel like jump roping, I'm not going to jump rope. I'm not going to be active. I'm going to go to the fridge and I'm going to see what's in there to snack on, right? I might choose a nap over a workout. Or I may have a treadmill and I'll work out for the treadmill for a week. I'll work out on the treadmill for a week and then I'm bored, right? So I have to have something that constantly stimulates my mind, which is how I kind of came up with this podcast, y'all, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it a podcast, you know. Reminds me of Coming to America. His mom named Cassius, something named Cassius. So, but yeah, I have to stimulate my brain differently. I had to learn what worked for me. The same way some of y'all may have to learn what works for you. Maybe you're not a binge eater. Maybe you don't have bulimia. Maybe maybe you're not anorexic, right? Maybe you're just an emotional eater. And that's where I was with it. Like, I had to, when I wanted something sweet, I had to remember to choose something healthy. Instead of going to go get a full-size Hershey bar, maybe see how you feel after you eat a snack-size Hershey bar. If you still want something sweet, grab a handful of grapes. If you don't have grapes that's easily accessible, maybe try something savory instead. Maybe it'll counteract that thought of wanting something sweet. If you don't have any fresh fruit, have a smoothie. Like, I had to literally retrain my brain to do these things. And I'm back into that mode again, to where I got comfortable, right? I'm overly single. I live alone. I don't have any more pets because I can't have pets there. When I did have a pet, my dog is what kept me the most active, right? I had something to do. I had a plan. And I'm one of those people to where I have to have a plan, and my plan has to have a plan. And if that plan fails, I have to have a backup plan, right? And a lot of times it comes from me coaching myself. Sometimes I get comfortable and I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. Or I'll procrastinate when tomorrow comes, and I never do it. But I like to keep, I'm naturally athletic, so I have to keep something that's going to keep my brain entertained, right? I have a treadmill, I have an elliptical. If I get bored of those, I have a jump rope. But eventually I'm going to feel like, okay, I don't have any space in here to jump rope, and I don't want to go outside because of bugs. Therefore, I got a trampoline, right? I have weights, and I have to feel excited about what I'm doing. I have to want to do what I'm doing. My favorite thing to do is to lift weights. But then I'll get in my head again. And I'm like, okay, well, of course, there are HIIT cardio workouts that you can do with weights. But I'm not thinking that far ahead when I'm in this mood or this mode that I'm in. I'm thinking, if I lift weights, then I'm just going to build muscle on top of fat, and then I'm just going to be right back in the same boat. Then I'll start over. So, and I know y'all can tell because I done rambled for 20 minutes. But that was just the gist of the topic. Do we glorify eating disorder? Because I do like to watch the mukbang videos, and immediately while I'm watching it, I get hungry. And that may work for the person who has anorexia, right? They may see someone else eating and say, okay, I can eat today. It's okay for me to eat. But then you have binge eaters who are looking at this buffet that this person has in front of them, and that may trigger them. Everybody has a different trigger, right? And to all the mukbangers, I'm not judging y'all. I'm not telling y'all to stop what you're doing. This is just something that made me think, because I noticed there are a few people that I watch on YouTube and I really enjoy their mukbangs. And 5 seconds later, I'm hungry. And like, y'all probably hear my stomach growling now. Like, just the thought of it. I can't remember the lady's name, but she's always like, welcome, welcome. I love her videos. But yeah. But I have to learn to stop talking, okay? Because we'll be here for 40 minutes and I'm not going to edit that. But yeah, that was just the topic of the night, topic of discussion. Do we glorify eating disorder? Yeah.